All right. Wow, that was really weird. Anyways,
All right.
Grizz Nation, here we go. We are back off of a win, so the streak ends, and we are back on to another week. So, welcome. Like we said, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. That helps us out tremendously. I think on Apple we're at like 43 reviews, so not too bad.
Sweet. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So we can get some more of those. We really appreciate it. But we have something to talk about. But before we get into some football, guys, let's go into some of the other sports that don't get some of the content. Soccer, man, they've been doing really well. They start their conference slate. They beat Northern Arizona 2-0 this last Sunday up in Missoula. They are on their way this next Sunday to play Northern Colorado in Greeley at noon. And then we'll be back in Missoula on that Thursday against Idaho. So definitely, if you guys can go support them. They are 7-2-2 right now. 1-0 in the conference. What's great about this year is the Big Sky Conference tournament is in Missoula. So that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Definitely go support them. That's going to be in November 6th. So
much better than Flagstaff or Greeley.
Exactly right. And that's where it's been like the last. I think Northern Arizona had it last year. So
yeah,
definitely go support those ladies. So volleyball, they have just gotten into their slate of conference games, and they both lost 1-3 against Northern Colorado and 1-3 against Portland State.
I think those Northern Colorado games were close, though.
They're very close.
Dogfight.
Yep. So they are on the road this Thursday at Weber State. And then they'll play Saturday at Pocatello against Idaho State. So
it'd be sweet if the girls could pull off a win against Weber, and then we could too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
2 wins against Weber. That would be awesome. So yeah, definitely go support them. If you can't make it to those games, make sure that you watch it on ESPN Plus. They are 5-8 overall with an 0-2 conference record as we speak. So definitely better at home than we are away. So yeah, so far so good. I think they can turn it around, and they've definitely got some talent on that team. So
yeah, for sure.
But on to football. We get the win, and it was a little bit different than what we expected.
Yeah.
52-49 win for the Grizz. A fourth quarter that I wasn't expecting.
I don't think anybody was expecting this quarter.
28 points for the Eastern Washington Eagles and 14 for us, which, man, that was whoever had the ball last was going to win that game. And thankfully we pulled it out. So,
yeah. Well, we constantly had like almost 2 scores against them, even though they'd come back, then we'd put it back there. And then, so, I mean, that was definitely nerve-wracking, much more nerve-wracking than I expected.
Yeah.
With our scores, I thought our defense would show up. Even like I was listening to the pregame, and like I think even Sammy, he was like, I don't think they're gonna score a point. Like he was all jacked up too. And yeah, boy, they scored a lot of points.
So. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that was crazy. I think that's been the most points for a while. I think the last time that somebody scored that many points on them, goodness, 49 points. I can't even remember.
Yeah, that's what even Houck mentioned, and I think in his press conference, he's like, I haven't seen a shootout like that in a long time. And really, though, I look at it, and it wasn't a shootout until you got to the fourth quarter. Then it became that,
Yeah. Yeah, it was going into that fourth quarter. It was 38-21, 17-point lead going into that fourth quarter, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that right now? I'm dying to talk about this part. So,
okay. Well, hey, let's go into some of the numbers, and then we can go into that. So,
all right. Sounds good.
By the numbers, first downs, We had 28, they had 31. And so it was very, very different. Like they had 15 and 15 rushing, 12 passing, and 4 penalties. We had 0 in penalties. So it was just kind of switched. They had 4 more first downs because of those penalties. Rushing, we had 337 rushing yards. They had 263.
Hey, you said 337?
337. Yep.
Yeah, so another 300 plus weeks. So we were right about that. We were saying we could get that. So
that's and then I knew that the passing game was just going to be open too, and that's why I was kind of, when I heard that Ayat wasn't going to be there, I was like bummed, because I just think that would have been kind of more time to get him developed. But 300,
I was nervous when I heard it was Fife, like, because we talked about the passing game.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I mean, he did show us in that Western Carolina game that he's good at, he became clutch and made some good throws.
He did.
But I was a little bit nervous because I thought, I feel like Ayat's a better passer, but that growth, and that's the only thing, I guess. Fife played awesome.
He did played a tremendous game. 364 passing yards to their 288. So total offense, this is just sick. 701 yards of offense to their 551. We did it on 79 plays.
Those are video game numbers.
I know, right?
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, no defense.
No, and there was hardly ever, there was no fumbles.
Yeah.
And so, there wasn't any interception. So there wasn't any.
Well, Gradney should have had one.
Gradney should have had one, and then we didn't get the onside kick.
Yeah.
And so, just tremendous offensive performance. One thing that kind of reared its ugly head again was the third down conversion. We were 6 of 13. They were 9 of 14.
What was our fourth down conversion though? Because we did,
our fourth down was 3 of 3.
3 of 3. Yeah. So
yeah. But that kind of just is very leery as well. 9 of 14. That's pretty high. So, it is a crazy performance. And then also we didn't really get much pressure on their quarterback, which their line did, good job to them. They played a really great game with the line.
When we had a chance to get pressure, our D line looked gassed.
It did.
Especially in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
They were not like going full bore. They looked gassed to me. I was like, they look so tired. And it's like, man, they should be conditioned. So part of me wonders, I mean, there's things that we'll never find out, but there's times when like there's a bunch of people sick on the team and they're playing because they feel like crap. And I'm like, was that it? Because they didn't seem to me be playing full bore like we normally see them. They look tired and were playing. Their pad level was high and stuff, and it was like they're trying to get off blocks when they would. That QB is so shifty that he'd just be gone, and we couldn't close the pocket down. So unlike the week before where we just slammed that guy over and over again. So,
well, and I think that's part of it might be just with being on the road too. It's hard to get yourself up. I don't know why it would be. This is going to be a game that every time you go to someone's field, they're going to give you a game because it's Montana on your chest. So you better expect it.
Like you talk to Eastern fans, like they hate us more than anybody. Like we're their cats. I mean that's we like to. They say they're not our rival, but they look at us as their number one rival.
Yeah. So Logan Fife, 30 of 42, 5 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. And some of those passes in the beginning of the game were very, very low. He tends to throw them low and short.
That one to Fonts.
Yeah.
That guy was the only guy. You look at that play again, and the rest of the defense is committed.
Yeah.
If he throws it to him right in the numbers or above
he's gone.
As Marty says, he's gone. Like
he's gone. Yep.
There's that one guy. Like instead, he's got to catch it and go to the ground. So that's. But as you saw, Fife got much better at hitting guys in the stride as the game went on, too.
He did. And so, Bergeron had a pass that didn't go very well. But rushing yards, Nick Osmo had himself a game, 15 carries, 160 yards, one touchdown.
Do well against Eastern. Like
he does.
Historically, he's really done well against them.
Yep. Eli, tremendous game, 11 carries for 109 yards, 1 touchdown. So
before you move on with Eli, this
yeah.
just came out a little bit ago. I took a screenshot of it, so I wanted to bring it up. So in the nation right now, he's number 2 for yards per carry.
Oh, he was number 1.
Yeah, right now number 1 is Ashton Janty from Boise State at 10.3. Eli's
Okay.
2 at 10.09, and then Michael Zerlock D3 Gettysburg is 10.06. So
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty impressive. 10 point
That's
over a
that's
first
crazy.
down. That's unreal.
Yeah, because last game he was at 9.9, so that probably screwed up his stats. And then you Fife did really well with 5 carries of 25 or 22 yards, and Harris had 2 for 42.
Yeah.
Bergen had himself a game, 7 receptions, 155 or 150 yards.
Is that his highest yards for receiving?
No, I think last game I believe he had higher.
Oh, okay. I
think against Western Carolina he had a little bit higher.
Okay.
I think he had, and I'm not sure. I thought he had like 170 something against Western Carolina. I could be wrong though. Keelan did great with 7 receptions for 75 yards. Eric Barker had 2 touchdowns. That was good to see. 3 receptions for 45. And so, yeah, it was spread out. You had 36 carries. You had 30 receptions. So it was even. It was just, man, Afton Chisholm, he's a guy, man. He made the plays that he needed to make. And I was really impressed by their running backs. That Altura Tuna and that Dotson. Dotson was a punisher.
Yeah.
A couple of those hits, I was like, ooh, that's gonna hurt.
I thought we would be able to hold up Tuna better than we did. Like he was really impressive.
Yeah. And so, it wasn't how we liked it. And if you talked to me on Saturday night, like Luke did, I was a little frustrated.
There was a lot of people like Grizz Nation frustrated. I think
Yeah,
I was one of the only ones that was like, man, we finally beat the streak. Like I don't care, we won. Like I am not frustrated right now. It's totally fine. So
it's just going from last year where we had a great defense to this year. It is totally different. And so, and then it's just alarming the last 2 games. We scored, or the opponents scored 35 last and 49 this time. That's what, 84?
Yeah.
That's 42 points a game in the last 2 games. And even with, some guys hurt, we've had those guys hurt a while though. I heard on the press conference that we had some guys out. I know Cashmere was out, right?
Yeah, Ryder Myers out.
Myers out.
Been hurting us since he's been out.
Yeah. And then also you had Riley or Wilson. He was out in the first half, but when he came back, that fourth quarter, you think
it took him a while to get going.
It took him a while. Yeah.
He wasn't just like that. That definitely makes a difference when you have to sit out the first half.
Yeah.
Like you're cold and you're just, you're not getting that flow of the game and everything. And I mean, it definitely, as much of an impact player he is, it made a difference.
So, and I think I mentioned this to Luke, like, is it performance wise? Is it players? Do we have the players that can kind of fit this scheme that we're doing? I know we're very, very we don't have the depth at linebacker right now. Just because I think that some linebackers that left this last summer, I think it was Genatone. Wasn't it Genatone that went to Nebraska?
Yep.
And I think that really hurt us with that depth.
It's too bad too, because he's just playing special teams over there. So it's
know, right?
Yeah.
And from all accounts, I heard he's in being a good one too.
Yeah, that's what we heard. So, but he's gone now. So I mean,
yep.
It is.
And then with Bradford being the defensive coordinator, did that really make a lot of difference? Having him, and I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I think our biggest problem is everybody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like constantly, when we're getting these blow-ups, we're like, oh, what happened? Why is that guy so open? It's because someone's not doing their job. Like, and if you watch it, it's like, yeah, guys are going, they think, oh, I can go here and make a big play. And it's like, no, stay where you need to be. Like, stay on your guy, because even though you think you're helping here, you're really not. You're making things worse.
So why is that then? So if you don't have, if you feel like a player is trying to do too much, right?
Yeah.
So is it the trust aspect of
They're not
trusting in each other, or is it just not knowing what to do?
I think it's two things. They're not trusting their teammates all the way, and they want to, like, sometimes I worry it's about like they want to be the, like, especially if like things start going south, they want to be that reason that we turn around.
Yeah.
And so they're like trying to find a way to make a big play. And so they see something they thought they saw on film. They're like, oh, if I break here, and then, oh, you just left your guy open. And the smart quarterback, like Zero was, he was seeing that and then hitting their guys. Like, especially Chisholm. Like, we knew, like, the coaching staff, everybody knows, don't leave.
Everybody knows. Yeah.
And they're not supposed to, but if you'll see guys all of a sudden when they turn and put their head down and try to run really hard, you're like, yeah, that guy just made a mistake. Like, like, oh crap, he got caught. And then two, like, there was one play during the game, you see Terrell turn around going, like, when Chisholm scored, he's like, what the heck? Like, the safeties, because he knew, he's like, the coverage is here, you guys are down here, what are you doing? Like, that's where you could tell that there's some frustrations on the defense. Like, people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And like with that defense that we run, if you hear all the time the 111th, but if you're not, it breaks the whole thing. Like, you have to do that, especially if you're like running 2-man and zone outside, like 2 high safeties, and you decide to run down. Well, then you leave the one guy by himself. And if there's 2 guys running posts, well, pick the right one. Hopefully you pick the right one. And then, we get scored on. So
how do you switch that? Like, how does that get better?
The crappy thing is like, if during practice they look good, like they're doing it, you're like, okay, we're good. And then they get out there and all of a sudden they're not. Like, unfortunately, like, it would be good to be able to pull someone and go, hey, you need to do that, be better here, or get someone else in there. But, we don't have, I don't think, the depth right now with some of the injuries to do that. Also, I think that's partly on the coaching. Like, I saw Loud out there and he was playing awesome.
He was. I wrote that down. I was like, Loud needs more time.
He needs to be playing all the time. And it feels like, well, he's a true freshman. I don't know.
I don't care.
Get him out there. Like, he looks so good in coverage. He turns his head and stuff. Like, doing all the things where, like, again, I think Jackson is a good runner and stays with him. His problem is he won't turn around. Like, he's good at staying right with him and stuff, but he will not turn around. It's like, we got to get him to do that. But Loud is doing it. And so it's like, do you take Jackson and put him at safety or something? Or,
I think that's more of a natural position for him. Anyway.
It's hard to change a guy's position, but could it be? Because Loud looked really good.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's 2, like Prince Ford. I haven't seen him, but is he that bad, or is it just we don't trust him out there?
I saw him a couple times.
Right. But I mean, like, not as much as I would expect.
Not as much. Yeah.
So, like, it just, I don't know. It feels like, I wonder if we're giving him too much, and it's like, okay, maybe we just simplify it a little bit. Like, if Tim Houck's going, here's some NFL coverages that we want to do, and doing this stuff where you're running man, zone, like these mixed up man zone coverages, and guys are getting confused. Did I have man or do you have zone? What? Oh wait, what am I supposed to be here? Maybe we need to simplify it a little bit so they're not getting confused, because that's been our big issue. That, and then, like, again, I saw them running those damn pick plays again, and that's been a problem of ours too. And so luckily we kind of stifled that a little bit. It was more the big play that screwed us this time.
Yeah. Well, penalties have helped them the first 2 possessions, or first couple possessions in Eastern Washington, which that's continuing to be a thing.
Yeah, we really need to, like, tone it down on, like, driving the quarterback into the ground. Like, that was, we had him done. And it's like, with that one, I still think it was BS. Like, 99 barely touched him and he flopped. And then, but you can't even touch him. Like, just stay away. If the ball's gone, just get the frick. Unless you're going to hit him and he still is in the throwing motion, you should be turning and getting off him, because they're so big about this protecting the quarterback. Just
don't even do it.
Yeah.
I had written down that Loud did an amazing job.
I want to see much more of him. Like, he's really I mean, when you just get that little bit of playing time and you're jumping off the screen just in the middle of a game, not when I'm rewatching it, that's saying something. Like that's whoa, this guy's good.
So one thing that I think that's going to affect us in this next game against Weber that we'll talk about, the screens and the short passes killed us this last game. And I think that they kind of saw that with in the past. Is it coverage? Is it, and I know the last game they had Riley be in the middle linebacker because Terrell just, I don't know if he's fast enough side to side. He's a great run blocker and a great stuffer, but from side to side, I just don't know if he's
got the
quick
speed
enough.
Yeah. Well, and then the other problem too is like our D line at times was tricked. Like they're like, oh, we got through finally. It's like, no, you didn't. If you get through that easy, remember that's the biggest thing in D line. If you get through really easy all of a sudden and you've been getting stuffed all day,
you
didn't just become awesome.
Wanted you to.
Yeah, you didn't just become awesome. They wanted you to back up, like get ready, something's coming. So, yeah.
So is it something that we need to kind of switch some? And I don't know if that's going to happen, right? With this coaching staff, like they usually with Bobby, you have to show something like the center position. That was something that I think was going to happen no matter what. From the instances of like hearing him say, "Hey, he just didn't have enough time, and we wanted him to have more time." I don't know. I don't know if they'll do those position changes that they need to.
Well, I don't know if they will either. I mean, it's hard to change a guy and put him in a new position in the middle of the year. Even though I do think Jackson, I mean, he played safety, and I think that could happen. But
yeah,
I mean, part of me too I just felt like I kept saying this in the fourth quarters. Our defense looked gassed. Like I felt like they all looked just tired.
Yeah,
and part of it was like our offense was scoring so dang fast. Like boom, they're back on the field again. Like they were on the field a lot. Like way more than the long sustained like slow drives. It's like boom, you're off, and boom, you're back on again. So
they had the ball for 26 minutes. We had the ball for 33. So we did have the ball more than that. Yeah.
You know? Both teams were scoring so fast.
They were.
So
yeah, if you look at the drive chart, like it is nuts.
Yeah.
Time of possession: 1:46, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1. 55 seconds, 32 seconds. Like
it was just like they say, it was literally like a track meet game.
Yeah,
the second half. So
36 seconds. They had the ball. Eastern Washington had the ball for 36 seconds.
Yeah, that's scoring way too fast. Then your defense is back out there again. Like you're like trying to get a drink. And you're like, oh, it's almost like an interception. You're like, whoa, I'm back out there again.
Yeah,
so can't even make adjustments. Then you're just back out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel great with the offense, and I feel like the last couple of games, I think this is starting to be a pattern where our offense is going to have to carry some of this load if we can't get this defense under.
I agree. Like I do think like our offense is usually historically the Grizz defense has come along faster than the offense. Like it seems like we see that lately.
Yep.
It's the opposite issue. The offense is starting to click, and the defense is having to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And usually with a really good offense, you kind of give your defense a break, but this game was a lot different.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about like that second half. So like halftime is 31-14, right?
Yep.
Like I'm feeling
good.
I
felt good. I was like, yes.
Why wouldn't you? 31-14.
Yeah.
We know that they're getting the ball to start the second half. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So we both go down and score. They're scoring a little bit more than expected, but it's 38-28, right?
38-21, wasn't it?
No, it's 38-28.
Oh, yes.
We're in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
It's 38-28. We're leading by 10. They had just scored. With everything, how it had been working, they'd score, we'd go score. They'd score, we'd go score. So we go, and we're up by 10. That's the point where they kick the onside kick.
Yeah.
We should have been ready for. I mean, ever since Idaho did it a few years ago to us and flipped that game, we should never have that happen again. We should always be ready for it.
Yep.
So we weren't. They get it. But here's the what if I want to throw out there. Okay. Because everybody's fired up, but what if they don't get it? Because that was a gamble by Best, and it paid off.
Yeah.
And if you look at their sidelines when they get it, they are going batshit crazy. I mean, the momentum has swung. They looked like they just won the Super Bowl. It was just like, I mean, that's the equivalent of getting a pick. We said there's no turnovers. That's what the equivalent was of them getting like an interception. It was a change of possession where they got the ball back, and then they go down.
It was horrible too. Like the kicker got it. Like,
yeah,
he kicked it and walked with it. Basically,
we used to
walked
do that with Chris Hepner. He used to do that for us when I was there. Heps would kick it, run up and grab it, like just curdle it, and we'd sneak an onside every once in a while because he was really good at it, just tapping the ball. And other teams, you'd see if they were leaving early to go cover, you could sneak one in on him, and he could run over. He was just the best at just tapping it 10 yards, running down and grabbing that damn ball and getting us an extra possession. And that's exactly what Best did. He did it, an old trick that we used to pull.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s. And so they do it, and then all of a sudden the score's 38-35, and we're only up by 3.
Yeah.
So the momentum just swung huge. So here's where I want to say, here's my what if, okay? So what if they don't get it, okay? The way our offense is playing, we go down and score, and it's 45-28. At that point, I'm thinking then Eastern's probably just going to give up. Like, that momentum change was so big. It gave the place so much freaking life that's why the final score is 52-49. We had to hold on because they had this, and momentum is true in sports. Like, I totally believe in these swings. But I was watching it, and that's where I looked at my wife, and I was like, oh, crap. This isn't good. They're so fired up, and we're going, oh, crap. And the defense is having to go, oh, God, we're back out there again. They just scored on us. And so it just started to snowball. And luckily, we held on and won 52-49. But I truly believe if we would have if they would have failed, we got it at the freaking 50-yard line. We go down, score quick. It's 45-28. Having a 4 and a 2 on the scoreboard, that's pretty demoralizing. Like, oh, God, we just tried that onside kick and that didn't work. Like, that would push them, I think, down, and that game's different. So that's just, I've been thinking about that a lot. And I think if that would have happened, I feel like this conversation would be much different. It didn't happen. They got the onside kick. We should have been prepared for it. And then our defense just bled. And luckily, the offense was scoring so fast that we were able to, outscore them and outrace them in the end.
Well, and the only thing with that is that they weren't really, like, in the past game, right? The 63-7, whatever game, they quit, right?
Yeah.
This team was not quitting.
Right.
Like, I did not see any signs of them quitting. And then
I could have. I mean, I feel like that we were close. Like, it felt like we were close to getting them.
It felt like we were right there when we were up 17 points and they were right there. We just had to make one more play. But I don't know.
That would put us back up 17, and it's like, right. And then they're like, man, we just can't get off this 17. And guys start having that. Instead, they got the onside, this huge magnet, and their whole sideline was blowing up, and everybody just acted like they won the Super Bowl. That's why I was like, oh, crap, that's not good. Like, they're in this. And then it's like, we better hold on to something. And thank goodness, like, our offense played so well. That's the thing. It's like, our O was unbelievable the way they were just scoring at will and driving the ball down. And I mean, the only offensive thing, because Bobby says an offensive possession, is missing field goals again. Jiminy Christmas.
Come on. That's not good.
That's been driving me nuts all year. It's like, we got 3 kickers. Not one of them can come on. Like,
we're not using all of them. We're just using one.
Well, that just tells me, it's like, if we're only using one, how bad are the other ones? Are they missing constantly at practice? It's like, what?
I don't know.
So
we're 1 for 2 for field goals.
Yeah, that's just. I'm like, with how good our offense is, screw kicking field goals. Just go for it. Like,
anything outside 40 yards has not been good this year.
Yeah, it's not. So anyways, that was my rant. I've been thinking about that all day. I wanted to talk about it because the momentum's real. Like, I had a coach a long time ago say, like, you can look at a game and usually narrow it down to 3 or 4 plays, where if that swung one way or the other, the whole game would be different. And luckily, we held on to win and get this damn red curse, or whatever people call it, off our backs. Like, it feels good to get that off, because I mean, like, they put that cool ass highlight tape out this week
Yeah.
with Cam
Yep.
stuff, and they had Cole Grossman almost coming down with that. I mean, I remember I was at a wedding when that game was on, and me and a buddy of mine were watching it, and then our wives and all went and watched the end of that game, and we're hollering, here at someone's reception because we lost that. And it's like it's been so close so many times, and I'm just glad that that's done.
It's done.
It's
Yeah.
over. So,
well, any last thoughts? The pass pro protect was a little bit better. I think it's still a work kind of in progress.
Yeah.
I
think our run blocking is killer right now.
Our run blocking has been awesome.
Watching our offensive line take on blocks and then like chip to the next level, and watching like Racanelli, huge game again. That dude is blowing people up. Like the blocks he makes on run game and stuff. Like I really hope that he like petitions and comes back for one more year. Like I think I've heard that he has a possibility of another year, and man, he plays so hard. Like he's one of my favorite players to watch in offense because whether he's going out for a pass or run blocking, the dude's just, and in the special teams too. Like he
works
playing
hard,
lights out. So
I just the big thing that we probably talked about is just the defense, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens this next week. They're going to have a very hard week of practice, I would assume.
Yeah, no, I guarantee you that they're all hating life this week. It's going to be a hard week of practice, and I expect the defense to show up this week. But you'll get my prediction later. I'm still not. I'm not sold on them. So
mine's not. Mine's going to be a little bit closer than.
Mine's much different than I was feeling last week.
Anything else, Luke, that you had? I was going through my notes here.
Just games like this, like for the defensive players, you got to learn from it and then flush it. Like you can't dwell on it. You just got to move on to the next one and be better. Like
I had heard in the pregame, we had like 5 plays up to that game of more than like 16 to 18 yards, and in this one we had over that for the season. Right. So we went over that in just one game.
Yeah.
And so I think people are starting to click. My thing is, and a lot of people are saying it, you go on to Eagers, you go on to anywhere. Do we have a quarterback controversy now?
Oh, should we talk about that? I mean, that's the big. That's the big. Let's talk.
That's the big thing, right?
Yeah. Is it Fife? Is it Ayat? I mean,
I think it's Ayat.
So you have Ayat,
yeah,
against Western Carolina,
yep.
Big Sky Player of the Week.
Yep.
Fife against Eastern, Big Sky Player of the Week. Like,
yep.
They're both have accolades.
Yeah,
I mean, both of us were surprised not to see Ayat.
Yeah.
Last week, the week before West Carolina, I think you it was we get a lot of text during the game, but when he went out and Fife went in, I was like, "Where's his helmet?" Like, because he was still in the sidelines walking around, but I didn't see his helmet. But with those new benches, they're like the NFL ones. They just hang him on there sometimes. Yep. I didn't know if he did that or someone took it from him because, like, historically, if there's like, let's say you got dinged or something, they could pull it from you. And so I didn't know if that was it, but I was expecting to see there until we were listening to the pregame, and it's like Riley is like, "Yep, no Ayat." It's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a bummer because I was like, this could have been a really good game to kind of just develop his passing a little bit more.
Yeah.
Guys, whatever route we go, I think that we're lucky to have 2 quality quarterbacks. I think that Ayat has the higher ceiling with quarterbacks. Nothing against Fife. I think that if you want to go farther in the playoffs, you've got to develop a quarterback, right? I'm done saying, well, he's a freshman. Freshmen are going to make mistakes, but do you want a higher ceiling than what we had last year? I do.
There was a couple of times Fife ate some sacks that I feel like Ayat would have got out of.
Oh, he would have got out of, yeah.
And then there was that pass to Fonts that was in the dirt, and I feel like Ayat would have made that. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like it. But I feel like also watching the game, Fife progressed.
He did.
Kind of shows you where, like, if you let a guy play the whole game, how he can progress. Like that,
Yeah.
that was proven right there, I feel like. So
That's amazing. One quarterback played the whole game.
yeah. So I mean, and you just saw him get better and better as it went on. And so my question for you is that this week, is it Ayat or is it 5?
What would I do, or what do I think's going to happen?
No, for you, what would you do if you were the head coach?
If Ayat is healthy, I go with Ayat. I don't think they're going to do that though. I think they're going to go with 5.
So I agree with you. Like I'm still on the Ayat camp. Like
Yeah,
I think that he should start, and that's the one we should go with. Now here's the thing,
and I'm not even in any camp. All I want. I'm not pro Ayat. I'm not pro 5. All I want is our team, and this is just the fan in me. I just want the better chance to win a national championship.
right?
What guy is going to give us the best chance? And with me, an overall, I think Ayat gives us that better chance. He is well-rounded. You're seeing the flashes. He just needs more time. Give him the flipping time to do it, and he'll show you.
Yeah. So normally this is really bad potting because I should be like, no, it's this, but I agree with you. Like I think Ayat is the future, and that's what you stick with. Now, that all being said, like we got to watch McNeese versus Weber. We're gonna get into that.
Yep.
After watching Clifton, I'm glad. I think our options still this year are better than we had last year.
Oh, way better.
Ayat and Fife, like that's the thing. I look at both of them. I'm like, how lucky are we to have two guys that are really good? They're like, and they both have different skill sets, and they're really close to each other. But again, I think the ceiling's higher with Ayat. But like, if we need Fife, he's there. Like, if for some reason, like, because he's a freshman, let's say Ayat goes out and throws like 2 or 3 picks. Okay, let's get Fife in, and you're not going, oh crap, it's Chris Brown. Nothing against Chris Brown, but like we saw that Weber game where it was like, oh my God, the offense just like shut down. It's like they wouldn't open the playbook for the poor kid.
Yeah.
We saw this weekend, there is no closing the playbook. It's like we can do whatever we want with both quarterbacks. And so then, to your point, who has the higher ceiling? I feel like Ayat is. So that's the guy you play then. I think that's who you put your stuff behind. And then Fife has the role of where if you need me, I'm here for you.
Exactly. Well, and I think that you have a veteran quarterback that has played FBS football where he could be a mentor for Ayat a little bit, and I think that would be good for him.
And sometimes you worry about is there confrontation in the locker room. I don't think there's any because as soon as it got announced that Fife was Player of the Week, one of the first people I saw shared out was Ayat on Instagram. Yeah, like multiple times and stuff. So like they're all rooting for each other, and like I hear Bobby say this that the team just wants to win. They don't care who gets the credit. They just want to win. And I believe that. Like, I really think that, like, if you want that national championship mindset or even Big Sky Conference championship mindset, you can't care, like, I want to be the hero. It's, I just want us to win.
Yeah.
And that's really I think the team, the people that need to hear this the most are the defensive players. Like, quit trying to think I need to be the hero and just do your job and do what you're supposed to do. The rest will work it out. Just don't be a hero. Do your job, and it'll work out just fine.
Well, you look at last year. Last year, we had the epitome of do your 111th, right? There was no ball hawks, no player of the years. The year before that, we had guys that were ballot watch lists on the defensive side of the ball with Ford, and those guys were awesome. Yeah. But I think that once you kind of have these all-stars on defense, it kind of gets to be, well, they'll get it.
Right. They'll make you need to have that no name defense.
Exactly. The no name defense are just
swarming into the ball and just wrecking havoc out there, and that's what we need.
Yeah, and we've got the guys that I think could do it. I think we're a little bit lacking in the linebacker area. I think we've got some young guys that can step up and do that. Defensive line, I feel like is hurting right now just because of some of the injuries. And then cornerback, I don't know. I honestly, with what I've seen, Jackson has the talent to do it.
Yeah.
He just has not shown that he can get his head around.
I think it needs to be Gradney and Loud personally. Yeah. But then Jackson to fill in where needed. So yeah. The one thing that we haven't talked about on defense is and this is just gut check time for those guys.
Yeah.
We can wrap up and tackle.
Yep.
You work on tackling from day one. And there's a lot of arm tackling crap going on. They need to freaking suck it up and just tackle.
Yep.
Put your head down, tackle these guys. Like
wrap up.
This is just, that pisses me off more than anything when guys are not wrapping up. It's like, that is day one shit. Like, get on it, wrap up these guys and put them into the freaking ground.
Exactly.
God, that drives me nuts. So there's Rostad's been killing me. 2 games in a row. He sits there and stares at the guy, and they juke him out of his shorts, and he like can't make. It's like, dude, run up,
hit him,
and just drive him into him.
Yeah.
And then you see it more. It's like all this arm tackle, just freaking go up and smash him right through the numbers and into the ground.
Yep.
Don't worry, like, oh, I'm gonna miss it. Just go get him. And then know that the rest of your guys are coming.
And if you don't get them down, at least just hold on to them enough to where everybody else can just get to the ball.
Exactly. So sorry, that was my little rant on the defense.
No,
freaking wrap up and tackle. God, dang. Frustrating. Sorry.
I love it.
That drives me nuts more than anything. It's like, man, that is day one stuff. Come on.
And it's been a whole year where tackling has been.
Yeah, it's been trash.
If you talk to Houck, he says it's not a problem, but it is a problem.
I feel like they're going to be doing a lot of tackling this week.
Yeah.
So I do feel like our defense is going to be improved this week against Weber. Like, I think we're going to see them show up, but until they do that, I'm not going to. You'll see my score again.
If they don't, I know Weber's coming in and being 2-3, but this team they're way better than their records.
Yeah.
So you want to get
Weber since you
want to go to Weber?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I got to watch. I watched Portland State and I watched McNeese State. Those are the 2 games I got to see.
Okay.
Most of them. What did you watch of them?
I watched Portland State and McNeese as well.
Okay, good. Because they had Lamar, and I don't know. I was just
I didn't really want to watch Lamar because I really think that they just kind of they let that one go because they should not have.
And I feel like game. Portland State, we've seen them, so it was like a like opponent that we've seen, and then McNeese too. I've been excited to watch the Fighting Clifton McDowells. So Clifton's still doing his same old running high and stuff and fumbling the ball at times.
Oh my gosh, I was just like, oh my gosh, leave it to that, right?
Yeah,
and then oh my gosh, like he's funny and everything, but man.
He's a horse though, still. Like, he's hard to tackle, hard to get down.
He is.
He reminds me of what was his name? Played for Auburn when the Heisman and blanking now.
Cam Newton.
He's always kind of reminded me of that Cam Newton stuff. Yeah. Because how big Cam was and stuff. That's what Clifton's always kind of reminded me of, is a Cam Newton type.
So Weber State guys, they are 2-3 right now, 1-0 in the conference. It's interesting to see this because they play Washington, right? They lose 35-3. They have a very early conference game against Portland State and just obliterate them 43-16.
I thought that was weird. Like, they counted the conference game. I thought that was one of those weird, because we get those sometimes. Those weird,
it's like the non-conference conference game.
You're playing a conference opponent, but it doesn't count for conference. I thought that maybe what it was. I didn't realize that was an actual conference.
I think they may have switched to conference game just because I think that they couldn't get a non-conference.
I think that's why McNeese played them this week. I think that was the whole thing. Yep. So yeah.
Then they go to Lamar and they lose 16-17, and they had so many chances. They got stopped on the goal line. The third and goal and 4th and goal where they tried to run it in and just got
just looking at the box score. That's why I didn't watch it. I was like, this feels like a throwaway game. Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna watch that. So
no, Northwestern State they beat 39-0. And then they lose at home against McNeese State 28-26, which was a
same with that Northwestern State game. When you blow someone out like that, throw that one out too. It's like, I'm not going to learn anything here. They're just
So that's where they're at. If you go into their stats, guys, this is a good team. Like, if you just look at their record, they're scoring 25 points a game. Their opponents are being held to about a little over 19. Their first downs are very heavy rushing because they've got some really good rushing.
Running back.
Yeah, running back. Sorry, I couldn't talk there. Holy
All
cow.
right. I got you. I knew what you were saying.
And so, their average rushing is 202 yards a game, with opponents only going 171. Their passing per game is about 191, so they're pretty close to even there. Opponents are only throwing a 166 on them. So touchdowns are the same. Rushing and throwing are still 7-7. Total plays, they're at 353, which average per play they're about 5.6, with a average of 393 yards per game. But this is kind of the interesting thing too, is they do have some guys that can kick return and punt return.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be interesting, because with the Grizz, I feel like our kick return and punt return units have just been a little shaky, where there's been some holes.
No,
And
there's
so
definitely been some holes. That's Bobby's thing. So
yeah. And so that's something to watch out for, guys, because I think if they have holes, there's a couple of guys on this Weber State team that they're gonna break.
The one that jumped off the page for me was number 15. Was it Butler?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like what he reminds me of, like comparing him to our team, was like how we use X on offense.
Yep.
Reminds me of that. And so like to me, I wrote down like we got to keep this guy contained. And then I was like also a terrific punt returner. Like he's really good and has that kind of next gear where if he sees the hole, watch out. And what we don't need is like Morrison trying to tackle this guy. Like that will end bad for us. So
that's not going to end very well.
We need to have really good punt coverage and kickoff coverage against number 15. He's one to watch out for.
Yep. My computer's going slow. Holy cow. Time of possession, they are it's about 20. It's about even with their time of possessions. 29 for them and 30 for the other team. Third down conversion, they are really not good at third down conversion. They're 20. They're 29%.
Woo, that is bad.
That is not good.
That helps us out because we like to let people convert on third down. It seems like when we're like, oh, we got them back, let's let them convert.
So they do not do a good job of getting going on first down, and they make it hard for themselves, where it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and then they just can't do it. So they have been going down. They've been doing a 4th down conversions. They're 6 of 13 on 4th down. And so I think they've been trying to use that other down to get that, but not good. And so red zone, they're 15 of 20 with 10 of those being touchdowns. And so I'm trying to get there. Man alive. My computer is going slow today. Holy criminy. I think I got your you gave it to me.
Oh, my internet was working terrible today. Well, it's like selling Adam too. I think half the country if you ever have Verizon, your phone wasn't working all day.
Yeah.
So it was a quiet day on the phones for me, but lots of emails and stuff for work. But
yeah, 15 was the Clarence Butler.
Yeah,
he's averaging about 10 on punt returns, and he's averaging over 26 on kick returns.
Yeah, the dude's good. And like I said, that's what when he is on offense, they'll use him as a running back, but like for sweeps and stuff. And it's like if you don't have contain, man, like once he gets going, he's like Junior when he gets going, or X. I mean, the guy is just flying. So we gotta contain that dude.
Their quarterback, Richie Munoz.
Munoz,
87 of 153. Not very terribly accurate, 56%, 957 yards with 7 touchdowns. But he does have the ability to run.
Yeah.
He's not a terribly fast runner, but he's a bigger guy.
He's a bigger dude. That's why I put so on my notes here, I was like, he's got nice touch on the ball at times.
Yep.
Like when he does get it there, like he can put it in some windows at times.
Well, in his last game, the receivers did not help him at all. There were so many drop passes in that game. I was like, oh my gosh.
Which could benefit us, like if he's dropping the ball again. but I put down like he's also a decent runner. I was like
Yeah.
he's not like I don't think he's as good as runner as we saw this last week.
No,
But he's decent. Like he's big and he's not afraid to take a hit and stuff too.
Yeah.
What I did notice though, when you talk about his accuracy, when teams are getting to him, like Portland State got to him a few times.
Yes.
And so did McNeese. And once you start hitting him, similar to Gonzalez,
Yep.
he becomes inaccurate and starts, hearing the footsteps. So it's going to be key for us to get to him and put him on the ground, but legally.
He's only had one interception this year, but I was just going to say that too. I had it on my notes that he does feel it. And you can kind of tell too. They use a lot of screens, guys, a lot of screens and a lot of quick passes, kind of like what Eastern Washington did. But man, they have got some running backs. Damian Bankston is number one. 85 carries, 517 yards. He's averaging 6 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns, over 100 yards this year. But then they've got that guy, and then they've got another quicker guy, Adrian Cormier. He's quick and very versatile. And then that Davion Godley too. They got 3 backs. Godley is averaging 7 yards a carry. The Adrian Cormier is averaging about 3, but he was doing really good against McNeese State. These running backs were really good.
Number one though, that Bankston, he's their guy. Like that feels like he's like our version of Gilman, if you will. But like they also have that Osmo back, and like it's like they have these other weapons. I was laughing a second because I was looking at my notes, and I put Bankston is. I write in chicken scratch, so I was like, "What did I hear?" There's no way I wrote this. It looks like I wrote Bankston is a shitty running back, and I'm like, "That's not true."
Maybe it is the shit.
Shifty.
There you go. Shifty.
It's supposed to be an F. I was like, "What did I write here?" So he runs hard and he's very shifty. Because the other thing I wrote down is like, if you don't wrap up, he likes to roll and break tackles and get to the next level. Like, this guy is a breaking tackle machine. So again, to my little rant, we need to wrap up and get this guy to the ground, because if you just try to arm tackle him, the way he's spinning and stuff, like he just gets out and he's going to the next level. And so that makes me nervous. If we tackle like we did last week, we're going to have a hard time with this guy. We need to wrap up and bring him to the ground.
Well,
they on him to keep him down, because even if you have one guy, I saw him. Guys had him wrapped up, and he still snuck out of there and shifted out. So
and they'll lull you to sleep too. They'll run and do these formations where they don't have any guys out wide, and then they'll just like boom, and they'll just throw it down down the field.
Both the Portland State game and the McNeese game. Like at halftime, they're low scoring. Like there's just single scores on both. And it's not till the second half that Weber in both those games opens it up and starts to like in Portland they pull away and start scoring points. Against McNeese, it was like too late. And Bobby mentioned this, I think, in the press conference today. He thought maybe they were looking ahead to us or something like that. I don't know about that, but it was. I mean, I think Weber's a better team than McNeese.
I think so too.
But they caught him and they got the win. And so, win's a win. Good on the Fighting Clifton McDowells. But they're going to be coming in here because this is an old ass, Big Sky Conference game. And the thing I noticed too is these guys love to hold. Their offensive line holds all the time. Constantly like pulling guys to the ground, and they're not getting called on it. So, it's going to suck because we're going to see a lot of that holding, and that just pisses me off when I see that and no one's calling it. But we're going to see that these guys like to cheat wherever they can.
And a lot of their guys, like their offensive line isn't as quick as I've seen them in years past, I think they have to kind of hold. And so, with Riley or whoever we have coming off the edge, you're going to see Riley being held. You're going to definitely see Hayden Harris being held.
They're going to, with his sack total and stuff, they're going to be after. The key will be like this, I think. If we can run some stunts and then take on those double teams and allow Riley to stunt around or even we're going to have to blitz. I think if we can do that, where they can't get a hold of you, then we have a shot of banging up Munoz, and that's going to help us if we can put him down. So,
and we've got to get some of that backfield situated as well, because they've got some good wide receivers. They did not show that last game where they a lot of the running before they actually caught the ball. Jacob Sharp is their leading wide receiver. 24 catches, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's averaging over 65 yards a game. Their tight end, Jaden Thrower.
Let me talk about Sharp real quick.
Go ahead. Yep.
So he didn't have a huge game, I don't think, in the McNeese game. He didn't show up. But if you watch him in Portland State, they can throw. He's catching deep balls. Like, this guy's got awesome hands, and like in that game, they like throwing a deep ball, and so that made me nervous. I'm like, if we don't do our assignment and all of a sudden he's open, he's gonna effing chisholm us and get down and score deep, because the dude's fast. Number 14.
Yep,
that's the guy to watch out for, in my opinion, for the deep ball. Like, he's good. And then, were you talking tight ends, or are you going to go into 87?
I was going to 85, but then I was going to Jaden Thrower. He's got 11 receptions for 121 yards, averaging 11 and 1. But they do have Marcus Creighton.
Is that 87? I don't know.
That's 87. Yep, that's 87.
So in that also in the Portland State game, like, I wrote down, the guy runs really good, crisp routes and does a good job of high pointing the ball. So, like, there was times where they threw it up above their corners, and he did the old Randy Moss jump up and high points the thing. And so I was like, oh crap.
And Munoz likes his tight ends. Those are his security blanket. So if he needs to go somewhere for some big yardage, don't think that it's going to be, and it's a passing play. It's not going to be a wide receiver. It's going to be the tight ends.
Yeah. If it's not 14, it can be 87. I mean, it's just like, man. So
they've got, and then the Jalen Record is their other one, 13 receptions for 104 yards. Wide receiver, number 4. But they're going to try to lull you to sleep with their rushing, and with Bankston and all the 3 other guys that they have. They'll do some nice screen and short passes out to the flats to try to get their guys to beat you. And then they're going to throw it. They're going to throw it down the field.
Well, and that's what makes me nervous. When I use that screen game against us to try to suck our safeties up and not do their job. And that's what happened against Eastern. They sucked up, and next thing you know, Sharp's going to be wide open like Chisholm. And that's what we can't let happen. You got to just not take the bait. Do your job. Don't take the bait. We got other guys to cover that.
So their defense, that 35, Kamari Munir Bailey, I think he's one of their linebackers. He kind of jumped off the page for me. No, he's defensive end. Sorry, 6'3", 230. He's from England, man.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, hometown Birmingham, England.
Huh, that's kind of
so his previous school was Fresno State and Idaho.
Huh, and Idaho. Wow.
And Idaho. So
Jumping
he played
around the league.
Yeah, so he played 2 seasons at Idaho and then played last year at Fresno State.
Huh, interesting.
And
then came back down to Weber.
Yep, and then played at Weber. So he's somebody that to keep your eye on. Big guy, quick. And then, sorry, my computer, my goodness gracious. Defensive wise, come on. Their leading tackler is Garrett Beck. He's got 27 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Number 13, I think he's a cornerback. Come on. Man, they should just do a 1 page where it says they're like, he's a linebacker. Why would you have a 13 as a number for a linebacker?
I don't know. That nowadays, like our team, we got Vicao has got 0, and it's like
definitely.
I remember when they started letting D linemen do like single digit and like the low digits and stuff, and just to be different, Yeah,
definitely. So he's one of their leading tacklers as well. their defense didn't. They played well. They just didn't jump off the page for
So
me.
me neither. Like I didn't have any guys that was like, oh man, watch out for this guy. In fact,
Yeah,
the one thing I noticed, especially in the Portland State game, was their D line was playing really high. Like they stand up, and Portland was pushing them around. And I was just like, and I saw some of that in the McNeese game too, where they come off the ball high, and if your offensive line's playing low, you're able to move that line of scrimmage. And so, like one of the notes I put down was like, I feel like we should be able to open up holes and run the ball really well with Gilman and Osmo again. Like we don't need to throw the ball over the field. I feel like we could our run game again could be really, really good against this. And the other thing was, like when they did pass or even do like they did draws, McDowell was good at this. He had, I think, 100+ yards in rushing in that game, and he had a lot of opportunities where he's able to run down the field. And so that's where I feel like both Ayat or Fife should be able to run well against him. But I think Ayat would even do better. Like I feel like the better runner and elusive and quick. And I think his speed could help him. And we could see like if there is a play that breaks down or just running that QB draw.
Yep.
Like I think that could work well for us.
Because you're gonna get pressured by Bailey. He has 10.5 tackles for loss.
Yeah,
he's got 5 sacks. So he's gonna be the one pressuring you. I do think that you're gonna have to run your quarterback a little bit just to keep him honest. And I totally agree with you. I had that.
It works well for McNeese. Like I mean, I know that's Cliff's thing. Yeah, like he did it for us, but like
it was open. Wide open.
It was wide open for him to do it. And we saw, I mean, Ayat against Western Carolina, got player of the week rushing touchdown. So I mean, it's there if we need to do it. So
and he's so quick.
Yeah,
he is shifty, and then he's quick. I
still think Ayat's got that sixth sense where you can kind of feel him coming.
Yeah,
get out of the way, and so that's where I think he's got the edge on Fife. Like Fife is just a tough son of a buck. Like that guy,
yeah, he is.
All player, gets fired up, loves playing football, and I think that's awesome. Like they both have such good qualities. It's like if you could just mold them both into like this super quarterback, it'd be freaking awesome.
One thing that's gonna play a part in this game is field position. Oscar Doyle, their punter, he's averaging 45 yards a punt. He's got 11 inside the 20 this year.
What was with Morrison kicking that crappy punt? Like he kicked.
He was running it. He was running it. Yeah, like he did almost like that the rugby style.
I know we have like a fake option with that. I think, but
I
don't know. Like it just like he seemed off too. And then like the week, but when we're in our house, you got what the hell's 97's name on our kicker?
Glasgow.
You got him booting it through the end zone. Yeah. And then we get up there and he can't. I'm like, what? Yeah. What are you doing? Like, boot it through the damn end zone. Like,
exactly.
Take that, especially with how good their returner was. I'm like, and that's where I'm going with this is with number 15, boot it through the end zone every dang time. Like, I don't
exactly.
Care. Don't give him the chance. Like,
do the Bergen rule.
So hopefully we do that.
Yeah, their punter is gonna. He's only had one that was a touchback.
Well,
and so he's had 8 punts over 50 plus. His longest is 61.
That's impressive.
They do have trouble with field goals. They're only about 54, 57.
I saw their guy missed one too. Like I was like, oh, is that Morrison out there? I was like, so I got one more thing I want to complain about.
Yes.
So if we kick it through the end zone every time, they get the ball to 25.
Yeah.
That helps our defense.
Yeah.
Like our defense is struggling. If they don't, they have it at the 35 or the 40 or the 50. That just puts our defense up against the wall. It's like just kick it to the end zone, put it at the 25. Like, don't get cute with this.
Yep.
That drove me nuts at the end of Eastern too when we kicked that little squib kick. I'm like, little up. I mean, they were hoping
that did not work.
It did not work. It put our defense in a bad position again. I was like, what are you doing?
I didn't understand that. I was like, let's give them field possession so that they have less of a just
God. Banging my head against the wall. It's like, come on.
Oh,
I was just like, that popped in my head. Like, God, talking about
you got some PTSD, man.
Yeah. Like I said, after the game, I was just thinking about how the offense was so great. I was like, I don't even want to think about the defense.
I felt bad. I felt bad because I like went off. I was just like so pissed. And
I know you were.
I'm texting Luke, and Luke's like, "It's okay. It's okay."
You weren't the only one. There was a lot of people I was talking to that were upset. Just like, what do you guys want them to lose? I'm like, God, come on. I was fired up. So,
all right. Any last thoughts, man?
So, I think after watching both them, Weber play against McNeese and play against Portland State, I think the key for us is to get our offense going early and quickly. If we can score early on them, that's how they stayed in it with both of those games. They were in it at halftime. It was really good within a score. And then, like you said, against Portland State, we were pulled away. Against McNeese, they didn't. They stayed and they ended up losing that game. Yeah. I think if we can get on them quick and get scores and get a couple scores ahead by halftime, that's going to make it much harder for Weber to come back. And if we can just really, I mean, especially with our defense, if the defense comes out and plays well, then I'll feel much better. But if they continue on this crap from Eastern, then we need the offense to show out and put another 50 points up.
Yep.
Either way, I hope the offense does it. I think we have the ability to do that now. Like, I think we're rolling, and I'd like them to just keep doing it. Like, let's just keep putting 50 up a game, and then hope our defense starts, whittling away and starts, getting better as the time goes.
Exactly. So
they aren't ranked this week, I guess. Weber.
No,
they were ranked last week. They basically flip-flopped with McNeese. When McNeese beat him, they went up, and now Weber's receiving votes, and they're out. So
okay.
So yeah, just to let people know on that. And sorry, I was trying to find this thing I took a picture of. Okay, so I was just going to run through this real quick. So you got Cats at 3, Grizz at 8. We stayed there in the stats poll. Davis went to 9. Idaho dropped to 10. Sac, who lost to NAU, dropped to 17. NAU is now 25th, and then Weber State's receiving votes.
Wow.
And McNeese
jumped for NAU.
So yeah, I thought so too. That was an impressive win. So
yeah.
Sac's apparently too busy thinking about moving to the Pac-12.
Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous. You sent me that. Yeah. $35 million. Was it $35 million in 24 hours?
Yeah, that they raised. I'm like, we could.
That is ridiculous.
That's where I think the Pac-12 wants them, is that Sacramento TV market.
Yeah, and I must have had a lot of drug dealers on that. My goodness gracious, money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and like they're gonna revamp their stadium, and it's like, dude, you can't even fill it. What?
How are you going to revamp their like they said that, and I watched it. Their basketball. It's like not even a high school gym.
Well, their football stadium sucks too. I remember they put up tents for us to change in and stuff like outside. Oh like, it was just ridiculous. Like it
looks a little bit better than what it did, but their basketball is horrible.
So here's something funny about the Easter game. Like they're talking to their AD guy or somebody.
Oh yeah,
renovations, and he's like, well, this year we added the Bud Light, like the Bud Light suites or something like that.
Yeah,
and they pan over to him, and they're like 10 by 10 tents. I'm like, what? In the end zone, I was like, what?
That's giving us a good revenue. They said.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I mean, obviously you're letting people drink and you're just selling a lot of booze, I think is what's going on back there. But
yeah,
you just put a bunch of tents up. I'm like, okay, you do you, pal.
I what is the percentage that you think that's actually going to happen?
Oh my God, they've been struggling with money for so bad.
There's no way
they have a bunch of money and stuff, and then they had that Ruse guy, former NFL player. He was there at the game. They showed him. Yeah. He's the one that helped get the field the last time, and
there's no way. I don't believe that they're going to update their field.
There was talk about them moving to D2 just a year ago. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't believe it. So
yeah.
All right. Well, you want my score?
Well, here, just real quick, Weber State. The game is at Saturday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time in Missoula at Washington Grizzly Stadium. For those of you that are out of town and want to listen, Adam and I do this 2 hours before game time.
Yep.
You can actually get on Victory Sports app or gogriz.com and listen to all the pregame stuff, which is kind of cool. You get starting lineups and just different perspectives. Usually have Sammy on. I enjoy listening to it every time. Like it's good stuff. Otherwise, ESPN Plus. And if you are local in Montana, it's on KPAX or MTN Network. So just wanted to pass that along.
All right. Well,
we can go to scores. All right.
Scores. Let's do this. What's the Versus app say?
Okay, so here's what Versus says. Versus has the Grizz winning 35-22.
That's not bad.
No. And they were much closer than we were last week. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while they can be right.
Yeah. So you want mine? I got mine.
I've got mine. Mine's 42-28.
Oh, wow. Well, ours are different.
Okay.
42-28, you said?
Yep.
All right. I mean, they're close, but they're different. Mine's 38-24, Grizz.
38-24.
Yep.
So both 14 points. Okay.
And so, like, that's my true feeling. My maroon glasses says 50-17, but that's what I'm hoping for.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
I'm putting that as my maroon glasses score.
There you go, the maroon glasses score. We should do that, like a segment on that. What's your maroon glasses score?
Yeah, it's like, right now I'm like, okay, I was trying to think, okay, if the defense isn't showing, if they put 20, that's what the reason I put the 24 was because watching the second halves of both that Portland State and that McNeese game, it seems like in the second half, all of a sudden Weber just starts getting going, and they get the rhythm. They just start putting points up and stuff, and so that's really that's the thing that could make me nervous. It's like if we get ahead again, we can't let off. Like we got to just keep pounding it because they've been a second half team in these games that mean something. So
yeah.
It's
gonna be interesting. If our defense shows up, it could be, your maroon glasses.
It easily could be if they showed up what they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
it could easily be a Grizz 50-17 kind of.
Yeah, it could be,
or it could be
42-35.
Yeah, it could be. That's the thing that scares me. It could be like 42-35 or something.
Yeah,
or 38-36 or something. It's
like,
oh my gosh, So
yep.
Yeah. I do think Weber's down from years past. I'll say that. Like they don't look as good as they have been, but they have the players and stuff. And again, like they like to hold and do all this stuff, and they want to be chippy, and they're going to try to. They've seen us. They're going to try to get us out of our element, especially in Wagriz.
Yeah,
to get those penalties. We've been getting those penalties. They're going to.
Oh yeah, we have been.
Like Munoz is going to be talking to our guys,
yeah,
just trying to get him to late hit him because he's a big dude, and I think he can handle it. And that's just going to extend their drive. We can't give them penalties that extend their drives. We have.
I don't think that their offensive line is as good as it used to be.
No, I don't think
so. But they do.
They hold all the time.
They do. So, we've got some questions here, man.
Cool, awesome.
So let me get.
Well, you're doing that. I just wanted to give a shout out to Anthony Davis. Like he's been chatting me up on Twitter. That's and then
it's awesome. We love it, man.
And then Shay Rosberg also.
Yeah,
it's funny getting some of his comments during the games and things. And so and then like the whole crew at the Grizz Den that runs that Facebook page, Jamie, Nate, and Bryce, and Griff, and Tyler, all of them always enjoy the pod every week. So we love hearing that. We get a lot of comments, people that enjoy it, and it's like we hope you like this stuff.
Yeah,
we enjoy talking about it, and yeah.
And we love if you guys disagree with us, definitely tell us that you disagree with us because we love to go back and forth. So
we'll talk. Or like the other thing I want to throw out there too is like if you ever have a question for us that you don't want us to like talk about online,
or
you just have a question that you're like, hey, I'm curious about this. Feel free to message us on Messenger or wherever, like private message us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about Grizz football or football period if you're just curious about something. So don't be afraid to hit us up. Like I think some people I get worried like
we're going to share it on
I don't want to ask that question because they're going to think I'm stupid. But there's no dumb questions. Like
no.
if you're new to football and you want to know something, ask us. And if we don't know, we'll try to find out. So,
yeah. Well, we don't know everything.
No, absolutely not. Like
we're not even close.
not even close. So it's like, but I'm just saying, like, if you're have a question about the game or something you saw in the game and you're curious about it, ask us. Or if you want us to talk about it, we don't have to mention your name, but it might be a good topic that other people want to know about.
Exactly. So. Well, and that's the thing is a lot of people are asking the same things that people don't want people to know. So
yeah, absolutely.
So Zachary Lord at ZKN Lord, thanks for what you guys do. Should Fife just be the starter now? If not, maybe we should move him to defense.
I don't know how good a tackler he is, but he's better than we saw. But yeah,
I think we kind of went over this. I think I'm in the camp where we go with the best that's going to lead us farther in the playoffs and farther in the future. I think that we need to get Ayat reps and minutes.
Yeah.
That would be a big disservice and this would hurt us in the long run.
I agree. I think the more reps Ayat gets, the better he's going to be. Yep. And Fife has shown to us that he can be that guy that we can just plug in and play.
Exactly.
He did that at the end of the Western Carolina game.
Yep.
The beginning of this game, he had some, questionable balls, but then he got better as he went on. But I think Fife has the talent where it's like, hey, if you need me, throw me in, I'll do it. Like that's the mentality. I feel like he's like, I don't care, put me wherever you want, I'll win this, which is awesome. Like that's a great attitude to have.
Exactly. Bridger Lord, should my niece play corner for the Grizz? She's seriously like a spider monkey that never gets tired. Could at least slow down the opponent.
Bridger, what's her 40 time? That's what I want.
I know, right?
She's like a spider monkey. Put her out there. Just make sure she turns her head around to look at the ball.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say too. Is make sure she can turn her head around. Like,
did he say what her name is?
No. All
right. Well,
I know, right?
Bridger's niece. Let's throw a number on you and get you out there if you're like a spider monkey. You'll be a ball hawker.
That would be awesome.
The ball hawking spider monkey. Little Lord, if her last name's Lord.
That's awesome. Spider Lord. Yeah. That's all I got there. I think that we kind of talked over some of the things that we're kind of worried about. Guys, if you guys want to get a hold of us on Instagram at Fight on Montana. Luke's on there as well, his personal one.
I have one other thing I forgot.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to give a shout out to my daughter. She's been making pictures of that Adam posts each week. So she's a junior in high school and she's taking graphic design, and her teacher's allowing us to, for extra credit, to let her be like our graphic designer this year. Angel got busy with a bunch of stuff and we were not able to get him to do it this year, unfortunately. So we're like, hey, here's something you could do. And she loves doing it and she's doing a great job. And in fact, when you see this week's, you'll see it when you come on here. I usually just give her some ideas, like here's some pictures and stuff, make something work.
Yep.
And so she put the streak is over, but my favorite part, and this is the reason I want to talk about it, is she's got the players and then she's got the Eastern Washington Roos filled in the background. If you notice, she took away the red.
That's awesome.
She took the red out of it and it's just grayed out. And I was like, I liked it. She goes, yeah, the red just wasn't working, Dad. I was like, no, this is perfect because the streak's over. Get that red off of there and let's go. And
that's awesome.
Huge shout out to Leighlou for doing such great graphics. And
we appreciate it.
I love it each week to see what she comes up with. So
and I appreciate it because it takes a little less stuff off me. I've been pretty busy, but yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's super. She's having a good time with it and stuff each week. And it's just one more thing I get to look forward to each week after.
That's awesome.
After the weekend, it's like, all right, start working on it. So
that's awesome. Guys, like I said, rate, review, subscribe where you can get us. Spotify, usually a lot of people are with Apple. You can also get us on the YouTube channel at FCS Fans Nation on YouTube. And so there's a lot of podcasts out there that you could listen to as well.
I've been trying to answer some of the comments on there too.
I just
and try to answer a few of them and stuff. And it's surprising. Again, every week I'm surprised at how many opponents and not even your opponent, just other team fans.
Other teams. Yeah. Which is that's cool. So
cool.
we love listening. If you guys want to listen to some Grizz content, if you guys don't even like, if we're not talking about something that you want to talk about, like definitely hit us up because we want to talk about stuff that you guys want to hear. So if you guys are not hearing something that we're not touching, let us know.
Except for politics, we're not going to do that.
No, this is something. This is a safe place. This is for sports. I'm not talking politics.
Not talking about that stuff.
Nope. But yeah. You got anything else?
Did you sell your house yet?
No, not yet. Hey, you guys want a house in Sheridan?
Yeah. If you're looking for a house in Sheridan, Wyoming, Adam has got one for you.
I've got one for you.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, until next week, hopefully we're getting a Grizz W and coming back in a little bit better of a mindset with defense.
We'll have a awesome offensive output. Hopefully get Big Sky Player of the Week again. Maybe one of our running backs this week. How cool would that be if like Osmore or Gilman got it?
That's awesome.
And then, like you said, a good defense performance.
I would like average.
Yeah, average would be great. Well, yeah,
that would be better. That would be better than last year.
Yeah, let's just get better. How about
exactly? That? All right, go Grizz.
Go Grizz.